Hey guys, in 6-6, we're learning about volume of prisms and cylinders. So a prism is a three-dimensional figure named for a shape of its bases. Okay. The two bases are congruent polygons, meaning that they're the same, like these two bases are the same. All of the other faces are parallelograms. Okay. A cylinder has two circular bases. So this is the main thing you need to know. A triangular prism is a prism, a 3D figure that has triangles. A rectangular prism is a prism that has rectangles as its base. Okay? So you guys need to know the difference of these two. Now another thing that you need to know is that these bottom triangles are called the base, and this bottom rectangles are also the base. This blue line here is the height. Okay, so don't get confused by the height. Lastly, in this cylinder, this red circle is the base, and the height is the length going up and down. Okay, you have to be able to differentiate what is the height and what is the base. So here are some of our formulas that we need to know. Volume of prisms and cylinders. To find the volume of a prism, you're going to use volume is equal to base times height. Write that into your formula, into your notebook. Volume is equal to base times height. So let's go ahead and solve this triangle here, or this rectangular prism here. First of all, we need to know what is the base and what is the height. In this case, I'll make this in red. This is our base right here, and our height is this blue line. Okay, these are the heights. Okay, now to find the area of the base, we're gonna do 2 times 5, because remember the area of a rectangle is base times height. So base is equal to 2 times 5, so that's 10. And then now we need to multiply that by our height according to our equation. So 10 volume is equal to 10 times 3, and we're going to get 30 units cubed because volume is cubed. Okay. If it's just looking for length, that's going to just be units. So up here in the top right. If it's looking for, so length is units. If it's looking for area, that's units squared, and volume is units cubed. So it's 30 units cubed. Now for our second one, we're going to use volume equals base times height. Now the thing we need to know about base of a cylinder is that what is the area of a circle? The area of a circle is pi r squared times height. Okay, so you guys see how that's different? It's pi r squared times height. So the base here is going to be, we need r. So base is equal to pi r squared. Well, r is 2 according to this graph, or according to this picture. So pi times 2 squared is equal to 4 pi. And then we have to multiply that by the height, which is times 6. So we're going to get that to be 4 times 6 is 24 pi. And if you multiply 24 pi, you're going to get about 75.4 units cubed. So now, we need to find, in our first example problem, the volume of prisms and cylinders. Okay, so we're going to find the volume of prisms and other cylinders. So first of all, we're going to have a rectangular prism with a base of 1 by 3 and a height of 6. So if we draw our square here, okay, our base is going to be about 1 by 3, and this height is going to be 6. So our base is going to be 3 times 1, oopsies, 3 times 1, so that equals 3m squared, and then so volume equals base times the height, which is 6, so we should get our base to be 18 units cubed. Everyone see that? Now for letter B, we're going to find the volume of a cylinder. Remember, the volume of a cylinder is going to be pi r squared times height. So we have to first find out what the base is. The base is going to be pi r squared. So pi times 8 squared. So that's 64 meters squared. So we have to do 64. So volume is equal to base times height. So we do 64 times the height, which is 20. And we're going to get 1280 pi meters cubed. And I don't mind if you leave it as 1280 pi, but you can also multiply that by 3.14, and then you should get about 4021.2 meters squared. Okay. Now the last one, we're gonna do the volume of a triangular prism. The volume of a triangular prism is volume is base times height. But for our base, since it's a triangle, we have to remember what is the area of a triangle. That's half times base times height. So that's half times, the base here is 4, and the height is this red line 7. So that's 1/2 times 4 times 7 is 28, and that's 14. Okay, so we're gonna do 14. Volume is equal to 14 times the height. The height of that whole. So this is where it can get a little bit confusing. This triangle is our base. The other base is this side. So then our height is going to be this blue line, so 11 feet. So 14 times 11, and that's going to get us 154 feet cubed. It is important that you guys always leave your units on for every single problem that you do. Next, we're going to figure out what changes when you change a dimension. Okay, so if you change like the length or the width or the height, what happens? Okay, so first of all, we have a juice box. Letter A, a juice box measures 3 inches by 2 inches by 4 inches. Explain whether doubling the length, width, or height of the box would double the amount of juice the box holds. So we have a box here. Okay, so here's our box. I know my boxes always look the same. It's 3 by 2 by 4. So then our base is going to be, so volume is base times height, and so it's going to be 3 times 2 times 4. So that's going to be 6 times 4, so it's 24 inches cubed. Now what happens if you double the length? Okay, so this one says double the length. Let's see what happens to our volume. So we're going to do 2 times 3 times 2 times 4. So that's going to get us 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. So that's 48 inches cubed. Okay, let me erase this. Do the next one. The next one is going to be length 3 times 2 times 2 for the width times 4. So 2 times 2 is going to get us 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 4 is also 48. So we get the same thing of 48. Now let's do the last one. Wish this erased better. The last one is length, which is 3, times width, which is 2, times the height, which is 2 times 4. That's going to get us 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 times 2 times 4 is 8. 6 times 4 is also 48 inches cubed. So what do we notice? With a box, okay, with a rectangular prism, if we double the length, the width, or the height, the volume is essentially doubled. Right, you guys see that? 24 times 2 gets us 48. So if you double the length, the width, or the height, it doubles the volume. Okay? Now let's look at the next one. We have a juice can. So now it's a can. I'm not that good at drawing cans. And it has a radius of 1.5 inches. Oopsies. And it has a height of 5. And so we want to know what happens when we double the radius and if we double the height. So first of all, let's do the original dimensions. It's going to be pi r squared times height. So pi times the radius, which is 1.5 squared, times the height, which is 5. If we do 5 times 1.5 squared times 1 times pi, we're going to get 11.25 pi, inches cubed. Alright. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to double the radius. Well, what's 1.5 times 2? 1.5 times 2 is 3. So pi times 3 times 5. Sorry, this is kind of small. So that's going to get pi is going to be it should be pi times the radius squared, so 3 squared. So pi times 3 squared is 9, 9 times 5 is 45. So 45 pi inches cubed. And then lastly, if we double the height, let's see what happens. So pi times 1.5 squared times 2 times the height is going to be 10. So we're going to get 1.5 squared times 10 is going to get us about 22.5 inches cubed. And what we notice is that when we double the height, it seems that the volume is doubled. So 22.5 is double 11.25. So when we double the height, the volume is doubled. When we double the radius, it is 4 times the volume. So this is 4 times the original volume. Okay, so we gotta see what the effect is there. For our last problem, we have a composite figure. So not only do we have a triangular prism, but we also have a rectangular prism. So we're gonna have to add all of these together. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to erase the answers, but let's go over them. So the volume of the milk carton can be found by doing the volume of the rectangular prism plus the volume of the triangular prism. Sorry, triangular prism plus the rectangular prism. So to find the volume of a rectangular prism, we have to do base times width times height. So 3 times 3 times 6. 3 times 3 times 6 gets us 54. To find the volume of a triangular prism, we have to do base times width times 1/2 base times height times the width. To say for the triangular prism, we have to do 1/2 base times height times the length. Well, 1/2 times the base of the triangle is going to be this line right here, so that's the same as this, so 3. The height is 2. And then lastly, the length is going to be this length here. And that's the same as this one, so it should be times 3. So 1/2 times 3 times 2 times 3, and that's going to get us 9. So we do 54 plus 9, and we're going to get 63 inches cubed is going to be the volume. So the main thing we need to remember for this figure is you have to split up the top and the bottom. Okay, because you don't know the total figure's volume unless you split them up. Alright guys, please make sure you do the exit slip and write your notes down, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.